Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on another interesting episode of Bookish Reflections. And I'm excited today because we'll be looking at another genre. Over time, we have been looking at prose fiction, but I think it's time to take a step back and look at other genres of literature. So today, I have a poet with me, and then we'll be looking at Nigerian realities in poetry. Yes, I'm very excited about this because I believe poetry is a beautiful form of art and a way of expressing ourselves to in beautiful words. So I'm looking forward to having an interesting time because I have an interesting guest actually. So if you are just joining me for the first time, thank you so much. I appreciate your audience. And if you have been coming over and over for more bookish content, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your audience. So without much ado, I would like to bring into the studio my friend and a poet who just launched, I would say just launched, but he launched his collection of poems titled The Taxi Driver and Other Poems. Very interesting collection because if you're in Nigeria and you pick this up, believe me, you are going to relate with everything that the poet put in words. So without much ado, Muyiwa, hello. Hi,
Hi,
Muyiwa.
hi,
It's
hi,
to have
hi.
you. Oh my God, it's so good to have you. Thank you for
Good to
honoring my
hear.
invitation. Yes, it's not
Any,
easy. It's not easy
anything
to
for you.
actually come up with something like this. So congratulations. Well
Thank you.
done.
Thank you very much.
And in fact, I had my questions are quite many, but
Hey,
yes, I'll have to be I will have to be very conscious of time. And
uh,
so let's just start. Muyiwa, before we continue, just tell us a bit about yourself. I just want you to let us know who Muyiwa the poet is. Who is Muyiwa?
Muyiwa the poet. Hi, my name is Muyiwa Adesokun. I am a storyteller. I like to express myself through storytelling. I'm also a graphic designer. I am a photographer, and I find that these are ways that I can tell stories. Yeah. So in summary, I just like telling stories.
Yeah, and you tell a lot of interesting stories through your poems anyway. So when did you realize that you wanted to do what you have done? I mean, pen words and just write beautiful poems. At what point did you realize, okay, this is what I want to do, or this is something I feel I should do? So when did that realization set in for you?
Um, so I used to write, um, but I did not know it was poetry. So for
Mm.
me, I just called them short pieces, 20 lines. And so every time I show it to someone and they say, "Oh, nice poem," and I was intentional about correcting them, it's not a poem.
Mm.
At some point, I realized because back in school, the idea of poetry was they had to rhyme, they had to be very
Yeah.
deep, you know. Um, But as time went on, I realized that this actually is poetry. And what triggered me to write the book, to be honest, was I had written a poem and I think I posted it on Instagram. And then when someone asked me, "Oh, do you have any book?" You know, and it occurred to me that maybe I should write a book. And yeah, so that's really how it started.
I'm a reader that reads prefaces, acknowledgements, and all the other stuff. Many readers keep those areas in books, but I feel like I should read everything. Like I really want to know those that helped you write the book. I also want
Mm,
to know the going ons in the writer's head because I get to
mm,
feel that in introductions and all. And I found your preface very interesting, especially when you said that some time ago a wise man told me all you need to start writing a book is Microsoft Word. He wasn't wrong. And then you went on to say, I sincerely hope you take on that thing you have been incubating, and more importantly, you encourage someone to harness the power to start. I
mm.
found that really profound.
Thank
Can you share a bit of your experience in writing this and knowing that this is something that you have been incubating and it is time to bring it forth, basically to show the world what you have,
you.
especially the fact that all you needed to do was actually open your Microsoft Word document. I felt like that was whoa, really,
Yeah.
really true and profound. So share your experience as to how it all started for you.
Yeah. I think sometimes as human beings we overthink things, right? So when I saw that comment on Instagram where someone asked me if I had written a book, I reached out to a mentor of mine and I asked him, oh, because I know he had written a couple of books at the time, and I asked him, yes, I want to write a book, and then he said, just go open Microsoft Word. I was confused, like, is that it? But literally that was the start, and from poem to poem to poem, it was just flowing really, and it just made me realize that it's the simple things. It's that
Mm,
starting. It's that starting, and
yeah.
it's especially easy when, well, not easy, but when you can see the picture at the end, like
Mm.
what it is you want to achieve. That gives you a lot of impetus and drive. So yeah, just start and see where it takes you.
Just that. I think some people need to hear that. I think for me, I needed to hear that because there are so many things I'm like, oh, I'm going to do, but I don't think I have this. I don't think I'm waiting for all the stars to
Yeah,
align,
yeah,
and
exactly. Yes, they
they
never
might
align.
never.
They
Yeah,
never
it never
align.
really. Yeah, so you just have to take that leap of
Yeah,
faith and
I
start
agree.
what you have to start. So I will go straight to your poems. Actually, I found there were some poems I actually laughed, and I'm like,
Thank you,
yeah,
thank you, thank
this
you,
is so
thank you.
Lagos like. Oh, this is so Nigerian like. And
Yeah,
in fact, I have so you have so many, and time will not let us talk about every single poem. But I made a list of some of the poems that I actually wanted to talk about.
okay.
Um, you you first of all, let's even look at the first poem. He said not for sale, and it made me think of all those houses we have in Lagos where you see the not for sale sign, beware of 419 and all
Yeah,
of that.
yeah.
And but you passed on a very very important message.
Mm,
You said it was sort of like that sign was targeted to someone, and it was someone who offered his farmland in exchange for his 12-year-old daughter. And I'm like,
mm.
whoa, okay, so this is not the 419 message we usually have. But what was going on in your mind when you wrote that particular poem, this not for sale?
Anger, to be honest. Why are 12-year-olds getting married? Why are
Mm,
15-year-olds getting married? It
yeah,
makes absolutely no sense. And the
yeah,
fact that in some parts of the country it's accepted, you know.
yeah,
Uh so yeah, the emotion was anger. It
yeah,
was this has to stop. Someone needs to talk about it. You know,
yeah. And to
it's
think that people still defend this, and that we
yeah,
still don't have, there are supposedly laws against this, but it's like
yeah.
the enforcement of this, and it's still very crazy to think that at this time and age we are still grappling with such issues. Now let's talk about the poem Scars. In that poem, I you talk about resilience and doggedness. Is there any incident in your life that made you think about how important, especially as a Nigerian youth,
Mm,
you know how crazy life is in Nigeria right now. I mean, talking about whether the economic situation and all of that, and all of these things seem to weigh on the minds of many. Many are giving up, many are fleeing the country, many are looking for
mm.
easy way out. So, let's talk about it. Do you, for you to have been able to write that poem, is it coming from your own personal experience? Are there some scars that you might have, had to endure just so you get to the point that you are in, and you are trying to voice out the need for people to also um, be resilient and not
Mm,
give up?
It's funny you coined that out from the poem because that poem is actually a love type of poem. Um, but yeah, I get what you mean. Again, I can refer back to my experience in writing this book about just starting. As we said earlier, the stars will never align,
Yeah.
and especially if you're in Nigeria and if you're in Lagos, you just have to be dogged, really,
Yeah.
because everything is literally working against you. You know,
Mm,
And as much as you have family to support you and all that, it's you at the end of the day. It's your life. Yeah, so do what you can to keep going. And yeah.
Well, talking about the other meaning or interpretation as a love poem, I didn't miss that actually.
Mm.
Uh, but I see the guy is persistent. I mean,
It
yeah,
was.
he had to get his
It
girl, so he was
was.
persistent. So probably we can actually let people know that whether that boo or bae or someone, just keep at it. Just no
but
retreat, no
but she
surrender.
might break your heart too.
I'm wishing that, and I'm praying for those listening that person doesn't break your heart. But well,
Amen.
go for it. You never can tell. And
Yeah.
so there are so many. Then let's talk about the title of the book, The Taxi Driver itself. Why that
Hmm.
title? Why was that title the one you said? Okay, this had to title the collection of poems.
The title. I mean, there was a lot of back and forth with myself and the publisher
Mm.
because that was not the original title.
Oh, really?
It wasn't. And so when he saw that poem in the book, it was like this has to be the title. I struggled with it for about a week or two. You
So
know,
what? Wait, let me just. What title did you want it to have? Because if this was not the original title, then I think we should know the original. What was the original title you were looking at?
it was it's another poem in the book. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
The original or the supposed title was meant to be where is it? I'm in love with a market woman.
Oh, I think I would have liked that, but the taxi driver is not bad either.
Yeah. So the reason why we went for the taxi driver is because not just for the Nigerian African audience, but also the international
Mm,
audience. Everybody
yeah.
can relate to a taxi driver.
Mm,
Whereas in some parts of the country, a market woman will be confused.
yeah.
That's why we went
Yeah.
for the taxi driver.
That's an interesting insight. Yeah,
Um,
and then important thing about this taxi driver in the poem is that he sees all, knows all.
they
You just
do.
ignore the taxi driver that he's just driving the car. You
It's a
think
lie. They're not just driving.
he's listening into your every conversation and whatever thing
I
you're doing,
tell you.
shenanigans you're having at the back of the car, he actually observes. And then I was like, I laughed out loud when I
Mm.
read that part where you are running for an election for a position, sorry, and
Yeah.
this taxi driver might just come and say, "Guy, I know your secret." And I was like, "Oh my god, oh my god, that's so true!" And I could see that happening. I mean, real time. You think you had a past that is forgotten, and you didn't know somebody.
Mm,
Somebody
mm,
has your
mm,
receipts, and the person just pops
mm,
up and says. So I found that very very interesting. So
mm.
let me ask again. You talk about the leaders of tomorrow. When I
Yeah,
read that poem, I was a bit sad. And I was
yeah,
sad because I was beginning to situate it into Nigeria
yeah,
presently. I talked
yeah,
about the NSAS movement. I talked about
yeah,
how many youths are feeling defeated and feeling
yeah.
let down by policies, by government. Can you talk to me about that poem? Because it feels like this leaders of tomorrow thing is it just a cliche, or are we actually really the leaders of tomorrow? I mean, there was a meme that was circulating on social media about the Twitter committee that was set and the supposed people they were going to meet, youngsters, and everybody in that so-called committee were in their 50s, 60s. And I'm like, oh my God. I mean, and these guys are not the ones who should be talking about the Twitter
Oh
space.
God.
We are supposed to be the leaders of tomorrow. Is there
Uh,
any chance that youths can actually pick up the mantle of leadership in Nigeria? Is there any vague chance that there is a way for youths?
there, I mean, I don't want to be the bearer of of news that will dampen our spirits, but there is.
Mm,
But man, to get there, a lot has to be done.
yeah.
A whole lot has to be done, and I know that we pray a lot for our country. I know that we fast a lot for our country,
Mm-hmm.
but this more needs to be done. More actual work needs to be done. You know, we have the faith, but we don't have the works, and
Mm.
yeah. But there's hope. There's
There's
hope.
hope, right? So what should be our role? Well, they are not giving us the, or would I say they are not, or the opportunities are not so, they are not so many. If we want to
Mm.
look at it, so what should be our role? What should be my role, your role, in ensuring that we get the Nigeria that we truly need and deserve?
Uh, I mean, we can start by. I hear we can now register for our is it
Yeah,
PVC?
yeah,
We can start by voting. Um, Even though when you say something like that, people always refer to the fact that the the North, the Northerners carry the votes and all of that. But
mm,
I mean, let's just do our part. Let's just do our
yeah,
part and hope for the best. But truly, truly, this it's more than faith. I think that's the conclusion I've come to.
yeah.
It's more.
Faith without works is dead, right? So the Holy Book says. So we have to work, do what we have to do. Okay, so at this point, I want you to actually read a part of your poetry, like any poem you would like people to hear from this collection of poetry. And yeah, so just pick up any one you think we should listen to.
I will be reading. I will be reading. I will be reading.
I know there are so many good ones, right? You don't know which one.
Yeah. I'll be
So
reading A Jealous Husband, page 48.
okay, what page is that so that I can follow you? That's
Page 48.
okay, page 30.
40, 48.
40?
Yes, 48.
48,
A
okay.
Jealous Husband.
All right, so let's hear it.
Okay. A maker is stuck in his lover's window. A regretful wife chews her manicured nails, her predicament slowly coming into clarity. The sole of her husband's shoes click wooden floors, drawing closer with each breath. Hit with a wave of fresh panic, the maker sets himself free, suffering a small body tear, tumbling into the backyard, Billy and Bella's playground. Billy and Bella, two Rottweilers, starved by a suspecting husband.
Oh shit. I don't want to think what will happen to that jealous husband. I don't want to think, but that was so beautiful. I think one of the beautiful things I appreciate about your poem is how you're able to capture a lot of issues. When I read Lagos traffic, I mean, and I'm like, oh my God, Lagos. I don't think if you use this whole book to talk about Lagos traffic, I'm sure you have so many words, so many things to say. But because I like that poem, can I beg that you read it? I actually, so let's read Lagos traffic. That's page 12. Uh, page 12. That's Lagos traffic.
Okay. He flew around in a cape that doubles as a bedsheet and a sword that doubles as a stick while she pretended to make porridge for lunch. Samuel and Shola, best friends, chased each other in their underwear while their parents tilled their farms. Decades later, they welcomed their own child, and in a few years, he will pluck a flower from the school garden and chase Shai Adaobi while their parents maneuver Lagos traffic.
I think the beautiful thing I picked about is how time flies, right? One
Yeah.
time you're here and
Not
another time you're
consistent.
there. You are the child today, tomorrow you're the parent, and
Yeah.
then you're going through the rigors of parenthood. And of course, you can't talk about parenthood and not talk about Lagos traffic. You can literally give your children breakfast, lunch, and dinner in Lagos traffic. Is that
Mm,
terrible?
it
And
is.
so, yes, I would like to ask you who whose poem or whose work has actually influenced your writing? Is there any strong influence you've had that has influenced your writing till now?
Uh yes, a couple of people actually. So my introduction to literature. Um, my sister came back home one day with a with a suitcase full of books,
Mm,
massive suitcase. And I remember, I think the first book I read was The Summons by John Grisham. Yeah.
mm.
And I was like, wow. I think the
Yeah,
next,
John Grisham is like that. You have the wow
yeah.
effect.
And
Yeah.
then I read another of his book, The Firm.
The
But then,
Firm.
yeah, but the book that blew my mind was Black by Tedeka.
Tedeka!
It
Of which I'm
was
struggling to finish that book.
what?
But I like Tedeka. I'm telling you, I have read many
What?
Tedekas. I have read Obsessed, I've read Skin, I've read
Yeah,
Kiss, Erin Illy, I've
yeah,
read Adam, I've read Three.
yeah,
But Black,
yeah, yeah.
I've
Oh
not been
my
able to
God.
finish it. I don't know
That
why.
book, that book blew my mind away.
But I must say that Ted is a fantastic writer.
he is. He's a
He
great
is
writer.
a mind-blowing writer.
The way he works with words, and he
Yeah.
just
His
he's
imagination is off the I
yes,
can't
he just
stand.
takes you. He just takes you away.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ted is a big influence. Another person I'll say is Tolu Akiemi. He's
Okay.
also a poet.
The poet.
The way he writes, just with you wouldn't know it's a poem.
Mm,
It's also very relatable, very easy to read and understand. And
mm,
so I try to embed that with my work to make
mm.
sure that whoever the reader can understand what I'm saying. The poem
Yeah.
doesn't have to be deep. I don't need to have to Google stuff to understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm,
So yes,
yeah. In
yeah.
fact, there's a poem I would not finish this until I ask. The poem Public Holiday. When I read, I was like,
So
Muyiwa,
that's a true life
I
story.
get it. They w-
That's a true life story.
the truth. Oh my god.
That's a
Okay,
true life
so
story.
tell me that story that brought about this poem, Public Holiday.
No, it happened to me personally. So
Yeah, I want to hear
there
the
are
story.
times when you think going to be a public holiday, and you're just chill and you're just relaxing, and the following morning you're watching the news and you hear it's only what
Only
like the
for
holiday,
government
like the
workers.
holiday doesn't apply to you. And the day before you were like you even slept late and all of that. You get
Oh my god.
yeah,
You're so right. You're so right. I
absolutely.
mean, I want to say that those are some of the highlights I had in reading your collection. The times when the way I'm laughing with you right now, I literally laughed out loud. Like Public
Thank you.
Holiday gave me that feel, and I found myself like, oh my god, it was so hilarious. The irony of it, it shows that the
Yeah,
Nigerian workspace is something else. I think we need to do a lot as to our labor laws. I mean, some people just get 2 weeks leave in a year. You're working for 365 days and you're only entitled to 2 weeks in a year. I mean, and
yeah, yeah,
then your weekends are not certain because your employer
yep,
can call you up. And so
yep.
I really did understand. I really do understand what you were trying to talk about. So we are going to round off now. I've had so much fun, but I can't let you go until you answer me this question.
Hmm.
What book do you think everybody should read before they die? Like, if you know you're dying tomorrow, don't die until you read this book.
Whew.
Basically, I'm asking what is that book of all time for you? Like, you preach the gospel of that book. Oh my god! Everybody go get taxi driver. I like it. I beg, promote your market. Yes, the taxi driver.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do, and I'm urging people to go get it. I think
Thank
it's
you
at
very
Moving
much.
Heights.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
it's,
Yes, it is.
it's a beautiful collection. Like I said, it is relatable. It's so relatable, and I like
Mm.
the fact that your poetry is not obscure. It's not something I have to hit my head on the wall and say, "What the hell is this
Yeah.
guy trying to say?" And it has made a lot of people run from poetry. I mean, it's one of the genres
Yeah,
that
yeah. yeah,
avoid
yeah.
because they feel they won't understand it. But yours is very understandable and very true to life. Thank you
Thank you.
so much,
Thank you.
Muyiwa
Thank you
Adesokun,
for having me.
for gracing my which English can I for
Uh, I had a good
accepting
time. I had a good time. I had a good time.
for everything.
Maybe, maybe I'll go write another book so that you can have me again.
Please do. If you could bring this up and do wonderfully well, I'm looking forward to
Thank
every
you.
other work you're going to put out there.
Thank
People need art. We
you.
need it. The world is crazy right now. We need some form of
Thank
escapism. We need some form
I
of
agree.
entertainment and
Yeah,
education. So
yeah.
thank you so very
Thank you
much.
very, very much.
I'm going to bring you back, and I hope you will be available then.
I will be. I will be.
Thank you
Well done,
so
I love what you're doing. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, but I had a good time talking with Muyiwa. And if you're wondering where you can get a copy of this book, it's available at Robin Hyde bookstores, and I'm sure it's also available at many other bookstores around you. So go look for it. You can order online anywhere. I can assure you, you're going to have fun. You're going to enjoy yourself. Thank you so much. If you are here and you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. Like, share, comment, everything you can do. Turn on the notification bell. And let's have a good time talking about books, because that is what Bookish Reflections is all about. So I have something cooking up in July. I'll be making that announcement very soon. So please stay tuned and keep sharing these videos, keep talking about it. I believe there's many people out there looking for a space where they can talk about their favorite books or listen to people talk about their favorite books. So thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Bye.